is his thing.
Gio should never play for U.S. men's national team again because of the action of his parents.
What an idiot! Oh!
What type of Muppet does this?
Muppets. Absolute Muppets.
I'm not going to be the best person to give a whole explanation here, but that's...
Booty! Sick! Booty!
Fucking deal with it. What are we really doing?
Yeah, I can agree with that. A zebra in between a tarantula and an elephant.
Has been nothing more than a sham.
Yeah, we didn't play well, but you know what? At the end of the day, we got the job done.
It's going to be a good time for sure.
Oh, sex with the first cousin would indeed be incest. And
Lay across my big brass bed. This is now week 4.
Oh, brass bed.
Big brass bed. Yeah. Week number 4. I wake up with that song in my head. I can't get it out. I don't know what to do. I hope this isn't like when I had Yellow Brick Road in my head for 4 years straight. And literally every morning was like Groundhog Day. I wake up, first thing in my head, up the Yellow Brick Road. And I'm like, what the hell? Why? It won't stop. I can't stop it.
Get it out of my head. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just horrible.
Bobby taking care of it.
Just
back your head drilled out.
Gonna do Rose Kennedy on myself. All right. You know, the Kennedys did that to Rose Kennedy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was atrocious. Just because she acted up a little.
Sad to say, but that's how they did it back then.
They did. And you know, the crazy thing, it was a relatively new thing. And they still said, we don't care if it's experimental. Because literally that just stuck that shit up your nose or whatever and used a hammer. And they're like, okay, good luck. Here we go. Bam. Did we get it? I don't know. All right. Welcome to Straight Red Card. The turd in the background says, welcome to the Straight Red Card. What can Gregg do to win over the fans? Well, do something he's never done and kick ass. Well, he has legs. Ooh, that's a not so subtle reference to an activity he was a part of. Hey, did you get to watch any Euros today? That's right.
I was working.
Yeah, but you could have came home. There were all the replays available.
You know the funny thing is that it's summer and I guess I could. I may do this tomorrow, but I could stream it at this point.
Yeah, but
I got all the other streaming services platforms opened up to me, so might as well do it.
But the replays are all available on Fox Sports.
Yeah,
so you know,
that's more than I can say about HBO. Game HBO.
Yeah. So I did watch England, Serbia, and wow, what a deflating win if you could ever have one if you're England. And it's so funny. I'm watching it with my parents, and my mom says they kind of play like us, Southgate in England. I'm like, Mom, you just nailed that shit right on the head. They do waste talent. Exactly. They do play like us. Like she's like, they fiddle around with it in the back all day. What's that? Just get the ball, transition the ball, move it forward. My mom's impatient. You know, she grew up back in the 70s and 80s watching soccer in Germany. Of course she's impatient. Makes sense. They didn't play like that back then. And then I watched Slovenia, Belgium today. And the Belgians, yeah, they played tiki-taka in the back all the way until they gave up a stupid error and got scored on playing around in the back. You play around and find out. That's what happened. And then we had Paraguay as a precursor, beating Panama 1-0 in a friendly. I didn't see
Who
that.
beat Panama?
Paraguay.
Oh, okay.
That's not good for Panama because Paraguay's not exactly one of the better teams in South America. And then we had France and Austria, which really, honestly, for large chunks of the game, Austria were the better team today. But they they couldn't score. They just couldn't score. Kind of like, some of our players when they get in the box, right? They can't score. Although that may be reducing. So many of our guys are having kids now, like Tyler's having kids.
Yeah.
So.
And you know what? Strange correlation there. Had a kid, scored a banger of a goal.
Yeah. Yes, Josh Sargent has a kid, comes back and plays like an actual man with hair on his chest for Norwich. So there you go. Can happen. Okay. I'll let you kick things off tonight.
Kick things off with fluff you sent my way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, every once in a while,
Your favorite Twitter handle in the world.
I know I hate this guy.
Why, Derek? Why do you punish yourself?
But this is according to Rolling Stone magazine, right?
Mm.
What I don't get on this is U2 at number 3. I'm sorry. I think they're an okay band, and I think they've had some good songs. But putting them over Pink Floyd or Led Zeppelin or The Who? What? I mean, okay, they're going to be ahead of Radiohead just because more people know who U2 is.
Yeah, I was literally about to say the exact same thing right there.
I mean, Radiohead's more of a niche audience, but boy, are they way better musicians than U2. U2 are just mainstream, rock and roll. And yeah, they had some good music, but the Velvet Underground is another one that's on here. It's like, what? Velvet Underground? I mean, that's such a super niche. I love those albums. I love the Banana albums, one of my favorite albums of all time. But I don't know many people that know what that album is, even. That's Hey Man, Take a Walk on the Wild Side. That guy, I just forgot his name. Lou Reed. Lou and his companions, Nico and all the others. Great album, the Banana album. If you haven't listened to it and you want to hear something haunting, listen to that album. Also, there's some pretty ones on there too. Sweet Jane, that's another one on that album that's really good. Grateful Dead, never been a fan, Jonathan, but I'm not cursing anybody that likes them. I get it. Radiohead, to me, they're the best musicians on this group, or at least the most talented, and they go beyond what anybody else can do as far as like you're never going to hear the Beatles playing these weird ass rhythms, for instance, and then make it work like they didn't. They did 3/4, 4/4, but they didn't stray too far out of that kind of weird stuff. And then the Doors, that sounds way overrated. I mean, Jim Morrison wasn't around long enough for them to be in this top 10. They had some great stuff, but anyhow, just my thoughts on this list. Never was a gigantic Who fan, but I know lots of people and musicians that are, so I'm not going to argue with them on that. But the Velvet Underground would be just music and maybe one album, 2 at best. And then Radiohead, again, niche. So weird for them to be on there. And Nirvana were, again, just maybe influential, but not around very long. So,
I mean, I feel like that's the big argument here, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at a lot of bands who've been around for decades, pumping album after album out. Not all of them, but I mean, some of them.
Some of them, yeah. I mean, at this point, Radiohead are getting into territory that's, I mean, they've got so many albums. It's crazy. Rolling Stones have put out, it seems like, endless albums. The Beatles put out endless albums in a short period. Nirvana really had, I mean, if you want to stretch it, you could say 4 if you want to stretch that, but really it's kind of 3. And then, the Velvet Underground, they didn't have many albums. I think there were 2 before Lou Reed took off on his own and did his own stuff. So, I'll be your mirror. You might remember that one because it was a commercial recently. That's on the Velvet Underground album. So, Nirvana and Foo Fighters is one band. Smashing Pumpkins, or my wife's band, Smashing Blumpkins.
Hey,
I like some Smashing Pumpkin stuff. That's for sure.
Sabbath
was pretty influential, not around very long. Rush at least was around for a long time. I'll give him credit for that.
Question: If you count Nirvana, can you lump Foo Fighters in with that? I mean, Foo Fighters definitely has the decades of pumping out albums.
Well,
and I gotta say they have a lot of songs that you hear on the radio.
Well, I get it, but here, honestly, if Kurt, besides the Foo Fighters' very first album, I think Kurt would listen to the Foo Fighters and probably want to vomit. I don't think he would like that.
I mean, I'd be curious to find out how if Kurt didn't commit. Well, assuming he committed Minecraft.
Right.
I would be curious to find out how big Nirvana would have been or would not have been, and if we would still have held them up in the high regard as we do today, if they were to have fizzled out over time.
Or let's say they're still making albums right up through like 2010. And they put out like 6-7 albums. Would it have gone downhill? I mean, we'll never know. We'll never know how. A lot of people even think the album The last album was kind of already going downhill, and I don't agree. I'm not sure I'm as big of a fan of the production outside of 2 songs on that album, because well, anyhow, it's a different. I think it was Albini right on the second one, I believe, and it was dirtier, and I generally like the dirtier sound of it, but I think that like in the album that's the most popular, obviously, Kurt did double vocals almost on. Or he used chorus on every vocal, and it gave his voice a real thickness because he's got a very thin voice. On the next album, they didn't double up his vocal as much, which I wasn't a fan of.
So I want to bring this up because I was by no means saying that Foo Fighters are Nirvana or better than Nirvana by any means. What I was saying is that if you bring in Nirvana, can you lump in Foo Fighters with Nirvana, since a third of the band was playing with them?
Nah,
and you have that way that band, quote unquote, the dual band has the influential aspect of it plus the length.
Yeah,
all the ladies,
they're just totally 2 different bands.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because if you think about your favorite Foo Fighters song, you might be able to think of like one title, unless you're a big Foo Fighter fan. Don't get me wrong. I hear Foo Fighters, I'll listen to it, but it's stuff that I hear on the radio all the time that I'm like,
yeah,
okay, sure,
like,
it's good driving music, sure, why not?
The most popular ones are the ones I don't like, actually, but I do like the whole first Foo Fighters album. I think it's really good.
That was a fun album,
yeah. It was dirt. I also like it.
Here we go.
No Creed, no Overlong.
You want to push Derek's buttons, don't you?
In Utero is a masterpiece. It's close. Weezer's had some really good stuff early on. Not as much of a fan.
They fizzled out, man, in my opinion.
Not as much of a fan as the later stuff. Okay, yeah. I just had to bring that up. Insane Clown.
Oh, yep. I was about to pull it up, yeah. Jack Panetta brought up Chicago, and I think he also brought up the Police.
Police had, I mean, if they had gone on a few more albums and kept putting out that great stuff, I think they would be definitely, they're in the discussion anyhow. Depending on how much you value the albums they did put out, because there's some really good stuff on that. Chicago, they went on a run for a while, but then they hit the 90s, and boy, whoo, that stuff got cheesy as shit. So, I mean, I don't know. That kind of ruined it for me a little bit. But I do like the old stuff from the late 60s, 70s. That stuff was good. Hit the 80s, and they kind of cheesed out on us, Chicago, unfortunately. Yeah, lots of good bands people mention in here. And it's, but I'm surprised by this top 10, honestly. I'm surprised the Doors made it. I think that they're way overrated, although I do like a lot of their songs. I think they're really great. But as a band,
I mean, there's a part of me that looks at it. It's by the Rolling Stone magazine, and there's part of me that knowing when Rolling Stones became huge and popular, and then you have the nostalgia aspect of some of these bands. I'm not taking anything away from half the bands on that list by any means. Are there better bands that have come out since? Again, it's debatable, but you have the longevity aspect and just the, again, nostalgia for some of those bands.
Right. I love some of these. Men at Work. I think they had 2 good albums, and then we never heard from them ever again. Van Halen. Yeah, some good
Ace
stuff.
of Base.
Duran.
I saw the sign.
Air Supply. Oh my God. I haven't heard that one for a while. That was back. Boy, did they write some cheesy love songs, huh?
Did I tell you my the story of when I worked a Fish concert when I worked at Deer Creek?
And you left
a decade ago or so.
You left smelling like weed.
Probably. No, so the concert was sold out, 100% just sold out. Yep. And they every time they for whatever reason, instead of being in our designated a ticket booth, they thought it'd be great to stick Will Call out in this little tiny white house that's out in the middle of the parking lot next to Bowdoin Road. If you're not from Indiana, you won't know where this is at.
Wilco the band? Did you say Wilco?
Will Call.
Oh, Will Call.
And so we're in this tiny little white house with the windows open, sorting through tickets to hand out to people who go up there to get tickets. And it is just swarms, like 30, 40, 50 people deep in every single direction. It was a fucking madhouse. And 99.9% of them did not have tickets. They were hoping that they could get tickets, and they don't have any money because they had to hitchhike all the way from the last Fish concert to this concert. And, they're like, oh, yeah, sometimes, when, so I don't really have any money, I get hungry. I just got to sit down and eat some grass. I'm like, you got to reassess your life, man.
Yeah, that's a weird commitment I never understood. I mean, my uncle did that. He followed around the dead for like 2 summers in a row or whatever it was. It was just weird.
I just couldn't believe that they threw us out of this house with, this little crappy shack of a house with like thousands of people surrounding it who don't have tickets.
Yeah, you're lucky there wasn't a riot. Yeah. Honestly.
I was just taking the tickets and throwing them out. Go for it.
AK, you're lucky they were all stoned. That's why there was no riot.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, a lot of good names in there. Prince, good shout out. Jim Croce, like all these bands for the most part. Haven't seen a crappy one here for a while on the list. So thanks for your Steven Seagal.
What? Well, you have the Yardbirds, makes sense.
Yeah, all right. Fleetwood Mac's a really good call out by Lou. Really good call out. Love that band. Not all the songs, obviously, but they had some great ones, some amazing ones. David Hasselhoff. Yeah.
He had an album. That's right.
Yeah, he's big in Germany.
Massive in Germany.
All right, we better move on. We could do this all night.
Derek, at some point, we're probably going to need to come up with an intro for this segment. We've done it with Dual Nats. We've done it with Transfer News. But we got to come up with one for Derek's past crush.
Oh, yeah, we need to do that. By the way, shout out to Jimi Hendrix for Fumar. Yeah. Just I didn't see it, Fumar, but yeah, Gone Too Soon list along with Jim Morrison.
But the Derek's past crush, can I go?
Oh,
Derek's
yeah.
Past crush, Derek's past crush.
No, it's got to go. Derek's last crush. Ooh. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is a crush I had when I was a kid, though. It's Christy McNichol. Empty Nest.
Christy McNichol's departure from Hollywood was a multifaceted.
Not that. That's too young.
Well, Derek, you were young at one point, too.
I mean, what's she, 12 then? I was talking about a little later in her career.
Big personal challenges.
That's not her. That's not her. That's not her.
Societal taboos and the demands of stardom.
Oh, 80s hairdo.
Love the 80s hairdo.
Anyhow, she was a cutie.
In a brief period, her career soared.
There you go. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's getting closer to, that's probably what, 18?
I don't know how old she is, but that would be like mid-late 70s right there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm about the same age as her, so whatever it is, it'd be legal, right?
Positioning her among the brightest young stars in
Don't talk about
Tinseltown.
it beforehand,
However, this swift ascent brought its share of hurdles. The first sign of trouble emerged in 1995.
We don't need to go into her backstory or anything like that.
Yeah, we don't need to go.
I think that's the oldest photo of her as they show here.
Yeah, we can stop here. I don't need to see the picture of her when she's 50. That ruins the whole crush thing, childhood crush thing, Valerie Bertinelli's a good call out as well, Lou. I like that one. But I'm much older, and I think you are too, and that's why that works for us. But most people will be like, who the fuck is Valerie Bertinelli? She married Eddie Van Halen. And apparently that marriage didn't go very well. All right, let's move on. A lot of these were too young for me, like Hannah Montana. I mean, I was a father at that point. So, I saw her like when that'd be something my son would have a crush on.
So I figured out Fumar's age. At least he's about my age.
Yeah. I remember when those first albums came out. Yep. I remember Christina Aguilera. All right. Next.
Okay.
Alyssa Milano's a good shout out for my age group.
Alyssa Milano's good shout out for my age group.
Oh, you're a little younger than her, aren't you?
Don't care.
Okay.
She had it going for her.
Yep, she did. Yep. Didn't she do a porn? No. Softcore, right? Like a shower scene with another woman, lesbian scene. No, don't look that up, Brett. We do not need this show to get shut down by some sort of
zip.
Alyssa Milano porn. Blam! Before you know it, we got issues with your computer running.
Well, we live in crazy times, Derek. We live in crazy times.
Yep.
Where shoplifting, as long as you do it underneath $1,000, you won't get arrested or taken to jail.
Okay.
That crazy talk, at least in some states, not all states.
Not all states.
Not all
some.
states. I feel like if you do that here in India, you're probably going to get, tackled by somebody.
Probably, yeah.
But they're starting to fight back a little bit here.
This is your butthole. This is your butthole in prison. Oh my God. That's one hell of a sticker, man.
Yeah.
Don't shoplift. Huh. That's crazy. It looks like they're in Virginia somewhere because he's got a Virginia Tech ball. But then he's also wearing some kind of shirt. I can't tell. Is that a Knicks shirt? Either way.
Yeah. Like that, yeah.
Yeah. That's a good sign. I like it because it uses humor to depict something that's probably going to be really happen to you. Although most people that get caught for minor shoplifting don't go to jail. It's a very brief stay, and then you're out, and then you got to come back for court. Jonathan Rupert for $5. Derek, I'll be in Germany on World War II trip. Cologne, Berlin, Nuremberg, and Munich. What foods do you suggest another than the normal sausage and beer? Well, definitely do have some of the normal sausage and beer, because I would go, for try to find like an actual real Frankfurter. I would try a lot of different cold cuts, like Jagdwurst is really good. There are lots of little places and bakeries where you can go to get amazing bread with cold cuts. So I definitely do that. Jagdwurst, I would give that a shout out. And then Schinken. Try to get Schinken. It's nothing like prosciutto. It's nothing like prosciutto. Schinken is made with juniper berries, has a different taste. It's much better than prosciutto. Trust me, by a long shot. I would go to one of those shops and have little sandwiches. I would love to do that. It just depends on where you're at. In Berlin, you can pretty much find anything, but you'll find a lot of other international foods. Like the Germans have really embraced the kebab, for instance. If you were up north, you could do Königsberger Klopse, I'd recommend. That's a fabulous soup, sort of a soup slash, I don't know what you would call it. But there's so many breads. Oh, my God. But you could just stick with your common Brötchen and with nice meats on top in the morning for breakfast. And then, try to find a good hotel. Doner kebab. Yes, indeed. They've embraced that in Germany as their own. And they have lots of great street food, too, including the kebabs. Get some real German pommes frites served with ketchup and paprika, or paprika and mayo, even sometimes, too. Anyhow, so many things to do there. I hope I helped you out. But definitely look up what's the most popular food in each city. Go on Google, look it up so you don't miss anything. And go out and try something. But yes, don't bother eating bratwurst. It's better there. But if you've had bratwurst, from, let's say, your local Aldi's, it's the same company that makes a lot of them there as well. And they taste very similar. But I'd get a real Frankfurter while you're there. And man, I could go through a list, but I don't have time to list all the different meats. I gave you about 4 there. So run with that. All right. What else we got, Brett?
Speaking of the, your butthole in prison.
Not mine.
All the fluff tonight for me is a common theme. They're all connected.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen this video yet? This tackle?
No. Okay. You just sort of need them right in the butt.
I think they're married now, actually.
Jesus, why?
I think they're married.
Oh,
my God.
My butthole. I've never seen that before.
I really think, and I think in some countries this means you're married, I think.
I can't believe he held on to him and just took a ride on him.
He's laughing. He's like, ouch.
He took a ride on him like he's a fucking bobsled. Oh,
that's your ass in prison.
Yeah. That's gonna hurt. All right.
Well, it's not very pleasant. And speaking of being not very pleasant things.
Okay. What do you got? British man killed by shark whilst honeymooning in Australia. Reports say he didn't suffer for too long as he only been married for 5 days. Did he be approved this one? I don't know.
Short honeymoon. Sweet sufferings over there.
Man, you don't go swimming in Australian waters, man. You just don't do it. You just don't do it. I mean, go ahead and do it. It's your risk. I know that it's like getting hit by lightning, but still, I'm the kind of moron that would be out on a golf course on a bright, shiny day. Suddenly a storm rushes in. There's lightning, and I get hit by it. So, yeah, there's thunderstorms in the, if that's going to happen, or there's a chance of it happening while I'm playing golf, I don't go golfing. It's that simple. Guys, cover Landon Donovan's hair. We will get to that.
You mean this hair?
Yeah, that looks surgical, like something was done to prepare.
It's one of two things. Either he's covering the Euro, so he's in Europe. Either he's a trendsetter and he's trying to spark the next Euro mullet type of look.
No.
Or he visited a dermatologist and had something removed.
It's very possible.
It is a perfect etch out of the side of his head.
Yeah, we can't zoom in any closer than this, but there looks to be like a little speck mark, or that might be my computer screen.
Let me see if I can open this up in a new tab.
Believe me, he didn't go out there thinking this looks good. I can guarantee you that. He did not go out there thinking, I'm going to go out there. Although, it's his personal life and it's his own medical issues, and maybe he just doesn't want to talk about it. I tell you what, I would talk about it, or I'd just shave it all.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Medical reason, or if it's a medical reason, I understand why you'd have to shave off a section of your head. But for the love of God, just shave the rest of it off.
Yeah.
Again, we talked about this before show. Unless he's making a statement and he's bringing it up during the broadcast about Skin Cancer Awareness Month that I'm unaware of, then maybe go ahead and do this. That way gets people talking. It's like, oh, he's bringing attention to skin cancer.
Yeah, but he hasn't mentioned anything.
Oh, fair enough then. Yeah, I really don't see anything in there. So maybe he hasn't gone to the dermatologist yet. He just had it shaved before the show. He's like, hey, hair and makeup lady, can you, I need to get something removed over here. Can you just buzz that down for me?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can see there's a little splotch behind his right ear. You see the little splotch right behind his ear?
Yeah, you're talking about right here.
Right of the ear, excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be, yeah, he had some stuff removed there. And there are other kind of splotchy things at the top of that cut too. Can you see the little darker spots?
Where? Oh, this right here?
Yeah.
That little line right there?
No, the speckle.
Oh, that you mean? And
yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I saw that. And I just connected it in my mind. It looks. I mean, I see a line, but there's not a line there.
Okay.
Again,
well, I see a line.
It looks like he had it buzzed.
Yes.
And he had something carved out. Now, mind you, if he had something carved out, with his hair being that short, it wouldn't have healed that fast. So, which makes me think he hasn't gone yet.
I think he may have, but it's only been like 3 days.
I still think he's utilizing the free free hair makeup lady or guy. I'm gonna assume there, and said, "Hey, can you buzz this off? I'm going to see him tomorrow, and he's gonna ask me to do it anyways." So
then just do it tomorrow, because they do that when you go. As somebody who's had a large portion of his body operated on, they shave you on the spot.
Sometimes you have to pay double for that.
I don't know. Probably I did. Yeah. So anyhow, yeah, I mean, we don't know what the situation is. This isn't because he's balding in one part of his head. He's balding all over, but
what if that's just a gray patch?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not. It's too squared off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, I know.
Why not just wear it? I mean, if the HBO and TNT crew can wear T-shirts to a game, I'm sure he could wear a baseball cap or a snow cap, right?
He could have got a really kind of like a Kango or something that made him look cool too. But no.
I guess it really depends on let's see. It doesn't show which game they're covering. That looks kind of like France, maybe.
Yeah, France, Austria.
So he could have wore like one of those like artist hats or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
you could one of those French. He could have wore a beret,
a long cigarette,
But maybe he just doesn't give it. He just doesn't give them. Maybe he doesn't care. And that's probably more likely the answer.
Yeah,
although
if he's getting something removed, his hair's not going to grow back right.
Although
just buzz that down, man.
I agree, but Landon Donovan. I mean, I would say he doesn't care, but Landon Donovan is a pretty sensitive guy. He's pretty sensitive, especially on X. You really can't say anything negative about him or he'll block you.
Look at the
immediately.
furrows in his brow. He's like, what am I saying the correct thing here?
Nah, I mean,
am I holding this microphone right?
he'll be all right.
Oh, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
I just don't necessarily rate him as a broadcaster. I'm kind of surprised he's actually out there.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that too. Although my mom enjoyed listening to him this weekend during the game. So there you go.
CJ Ladd says hair transplant on the side of his head. Probably not.
No.
Probably on the top of his head would be the more ideal location for that.
Yeah. Yep. All right. We'll move on. Enough making fun of something that could be quite serious for all we
wasn't
know.
necessarily even making fun of it. We're just pointing it out and saying, yeah, it's probably this.
A lot of other people did on X today.
Sure.
Yep.
Well, we can sort of branch off into this next topic, and I'm sure U.S. Soccer and Truly will be truly excited that we're sharing their advertisement with you guys.
Oh yeah,
but the ads are a rolling for U.S. soccer players, whether they're men or males or females. There's a lot of advertising opportunities out there for you, and this is the new liquor or alcohol of choice for all U.S. men's national team fans.
Alcohol product, yeah.
Wait, is this safe for?
Yeah,
is this safe for work.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, this honestly looks like a spoof advertisement that McKennie and Adams, because he's going to pop up in a second, threw together to have a laugh. This doesn't look like something that Truly actually spent money on. It said, "Hey, we're going to bring a red light. You go into that shower and pour this all over your body."
It looks like it was filmed on a phone.
It really does. Well, this, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Weston, you done?
Where were his eyes? First off,
I mean, Adams is a really.
Where were his eyes looking?
Adams is a really good actor, man. That was believable.
Look at it. Where are those eyes looking at, man?
At his schlong.
Yeah.
He's married. He can do that. He's just admiring.
Son of a bitch.
Are you done? I love it.
Done?
Truly. And then where's the kid that panicked? That, oh my God.
Well, it's our rivals who are panicking.
U.S. men's national team promoting alcohol. What a bunch of clowns. Can't believe we ever considered these clowns our rivals. Disgusting federation. Hey, dumbass. Your stupid federation has multiple alcohol sponsors, including Modelo and that one Chilean wine company. And then that's current. That's current. These tequila ones were in the back in the day. The Corona ones were back in the day. So you guys have been doing it for years. When did you become Mother Teresa? Or are you just a 9-year-old 12 little cunt? Sorry, I shouldn't have used the C word. All right. Yeah. Anyhow, that's annoying. Wow, holier than thou all of a sudden. I mean, I can understand if you don't think people should drink, but give me a break. I think that's a troll. It could be, but
I mean, another Mexican fan says, "Why didn't I think of this?" And Eric responded, "Goes, they're so mad." So it's just a troll, but
probably, yeah. Although,
but still, it's fun. It's fun to point it out
because somebody else put up the other commercials you put up, and he's like, "Well, that was 4 years ago." Well, you still did it.
Well, there's a part of me that think that half the trolls on Twitter only become trolls when they find out that their point is stupid.
I agree. That's what I think.
They're like, oh my God, this is disgusting behavior. And all of a sudden it's pointed out that your federation was doing it. It's like, dude, I was just trolling you. Why are you mad? You mad, bro? You mad? You mad?
Right. And then, Pumar's right. Without Budweiser, there would be no MLS. There would be barely U.S. soccer because they were Anheuser-Busch, one of the biggest supporters of U.S. soccer. And it's rough. Yeah. It's rough days. Rough days back in the back in the days when soccer was just trying to be breathed more life back into it and get it a pro division back in the United States. All right, what else we got here? League MXC.
Well, we talked about let's see this. Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat here. We talked about Fabian Hertzeller's move to Brighton last week.
Mm-hmm.
And a fan of the show just wanted to check in on you, Derek, and make sure that, that you're called out for a statement you made earlier.
Well, what did I say? I said the only way he's going to leave St. Pauli is they pay him a bucket load of money. And if they do, I don't blame him for going. And apparently they offered him a bucket load of money. So, I mean, I should have figured that was coming. Probably. Maybe I really wanted to see what Hertzler could do at St. Pauli in the Bundesliga. But at the end of our conversation, I kind of had to suck it up and go, yeah, if they offer him a bucket load, he's probably going to go. And yeah, it sucks.
Only one league going to do it. Yeah, exactly. I said, I covered this show to go. He's still surprised, but when EPL money comes a calling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he hasn't seen he's probably never seen money like that before. And
how many zeros?
Yeah, how many zeros you say? Holy crap, yes.
That's 45 crap loads.
And you still have to pay me for 2 years, even if you fire me right away? Okay, I'll take that too.
That's good.
I'm sure he's got some sort of guarantee because a guy doesn't bust his ass for 2 seasons to bring that team up into promotion, not full 2 seasons, and then leave as soon as he brings the team into promotion. I'm just surprised that Bayern Munich didn't go after his ass. Really, that's what shocked me.
Or Dortmund, for that matter. Dortmund's looking for a new coach.
I think Dortmund. No, they got Sahin. I think they were already ready to settle on Sahin because he's a long time Dortmund player there. He was Terzic's assistant coach last year. He was one of the emergency coaches brought in when the team was playing poorly, and he coached at Antalyaspor before that, so they kept an eye on him.
Yeah, they brought him in like 6 months before announcing that Terzic was even on the hot seat or something like that, wasn't it?
Well, they brought 2 guys in to help him out because they felt like he needed help, and he was one of the 2, and it made him easy to kind of say bye-bye to Terzic. Mm-hmm. Like Terzic says that he said bye-bye, but I think that was pretty mutual. I think they wanted him to go bye-bye too. And I think they're pretty comfortable going with Sahin, who's very much a younger manager, should give, you would think, the younger players a shot. But we'll see. We shall see.
I think what happened is Terzic went into the boardroom and said, "Can you believe what's being said about me on Twitter that I should leave Dortmund? Okay, you want to leave Dortmund? Cool.
Yeah, go." And
no, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
The other good news, if you're Reyna and you're American, is Sahin coached Haji Wright at Antalyaspor, so he knows American players. Doesn't have anything against American players at all, so there's no stigma. And he knew Pulisic back when Pulisic was at Dortmund too. He was there briefly, so he knows young players as well. And I do think that they're picking Sahin because they don't want the worth of their young players to go down any further. And I think they
sold off so many of them. Yeah.
I think they told Terzic, hey, you could stay, but you got to play the young kids next season. And Terzic might have been, well, I want to play who I'm going to play because I'm the coach. And he said, why don't you just leave?
Are you really? Are you really?
Why don't you just go? Okay. Because we're into getting young players, building them up and selling them for loads more.
Dortmund's in there go, what do you think? We're liquid? Do you think we're liquid? We can't sit on all this. We can't just bring in a $45 million contract for some age 27, 28-year-old winger. No, right. I'm sorry. We're bringing in the 17-year-old who is going to cost us $1 million, and then we're going to sell him for $20 million. That's what we do.
Exactly. That's what they do. And you're ruining the model, Terzic. You're ruining the model. And so they're going to go back to the old model, would be my guess. They're not Bayern Munich. They can't afford to spend like Bayern Munich does.
Well, that's the thing. They've been consistently competitive by doing their model. And oddly enough, the season that they really branched away. I guess technically the season prior when they actually lost the Bundesliga on the final day was still in Terzic. But then once he implemented his full system, they got like 5th. But the worst I've seen them finish in a long time.
Right.
It seems like, I mean, I don't follow them that closely to know, but
Right. What am I drinking? Canada Dry Zero and vodka. Kind of like I do on almost every show these days because I stopped drinking beer. Mar, if you've been with the show for a while, you know I used to drink a fancy Belgian beer on every show. Well, I was getting fat. So I had to stop and chill out on that. And this has no carbs whatsoever.
I polished my bourbon off. That was simple enough.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
And then I was drinking Sun King Cream Ale. The beer of choice for Evie, and well, not the beer of choice. Any form of during the summer, it's any form of wheat light beer. She's like, go and give me that. I'm like, okay, sure. And then every now and then I'm like, I don't really want to have another vodka and insert random soda here. I'll have a beer.
A Weisse. Yeah, that's a thing in Germany too. During the summers, you drink Weisses. They're refreshing.
Gotta stay hydrated.
Well, theirs are probably 6-7%. So I don't know. In America, they're 4%. What's that one?
That's something to look real quick.
Yeah. What's your ABV? Alcohol.
Sun King doesn't put it on the bottle or the can. That's right.
Oh.
They don't put their shit on the can. Man, I swear to God.
That's stupid because people got to know how many beers they can drink before they get arrested for drunk driving. So, that's why when I go out and I have a great Belgian beer at a nice restaurant, I know it's 10%. I got one beer. That's all I get to drink. Now, if it was 3%, I know I can drink 3 beers and drive home safely and stay under 0.08, right? Man. So that should be a law to provide on bottles and all cans that you have to have the ABV count.
Barley Island, back when it was a thing here in Noblesville, had a beer that was seasonal called the Patrick Swayze, and it was 13%. You got it in one of those little fancy glasses.
What kind of beer was it? A porter or porter's usually that high?
I don't recall. It's been 7 years plus since I had it
because
they didn't survive. They didn't survive COVID.
No, they didn't. I noticed they're gone from the square in Noblesville. Yep. All right, what else we got? That's our beer and drink talk for the evening.
Hey, sticking with the coaches talk.
Oh, by the way, I should have numbered this, but Miola and Davies today were kind of hinting we don't know what the problem is with Reyna, but whatever it is, he needs to fix it, and kind of hinting well. They weren't saying he was lazy. They weren't calling out because they didn't know why. I think it's pretty obvious why he didn't play at Dortmund for a while.
Watch our show. We talk about it almost weekly.
And then I also think the reasons for him not playing at Nottingham Forest were fairly obvious. I don't know what they're watching, but it was fairly obvious why he didn't play that much at Nottingham Forest. Jesus, I don't know what's so hard to figure out there. No, it was because he's a big dick. That's why. That's why he didn't play.
He just walks around the pitch. What is this guy?
He's just a monster cocky ass, fucking bullshit piece of shit kid with a bad attitude, grumpy demeanor, and I'll fuck your mom attitude. No, that's not. I'd
be curious to find out. It'd be tough to find out and get a legit answer. How many times that Mule and Davies sat down and watched a Forest match, week in, week out, even though that Reyna's probably going to get maybe 10 minutes at most, and you sat down and you watch the whole match, or you watch the Dortmund match, and you're sitting there well, Terzic's not a big fan of Reyna's defensive ability. He's probably not going to get a lot of playing time.
Yeah, I mean, Dave,
self-explanatory. They've talked about this shit.
Davies did say, sometimes when you don't play, you have no idea why. It could be that
the coaches said it. They've said it.
Well, I know they have said it. So I don't know. Anybody. This is not a mystery. Terzic wanted him to play more defense, and that was as simple as it got. And then he didn't say it was an attitude problem. He didn't say that he was lazy at practice. And the same thing happened at Nottingham Forest. You're not going to play a kid that there are no consequences for this kid if Nottingham Forest are relegated. You're playing the guys who are going to face consequences if they're relegated. That's what you do in that situation.
And people from Forest legitimately said that Nuno basically he prefers players that have EPL experience. So in that sense, you look at Reyna and you look at Gibbs White, and you're going to sit there and say, well, Gibbs White's going to play because he has more experience.
Of course he's going to play.
X, Y, and Z, you know?
Yep.
And you look out left, you look out right. It wouldn't matter even if, I mean, Reyna doesn't have the pace to play Nuno wing ball.
No.
In the EPL. I mean,
no.
He could run up and down the pitch, but it's not going to be fast enough for what they're expecting.
Yep.
So when he got brought in, even in as a sub on the wing, he basically played a 10 and Gibbs White pushed back.
Yep.
I mean, it was clear and obvious why he didn't play at Forest. It sucks that was a situation, and he might have garnered more playing time and shown better if he stayed at Dortmund, sure. But again, we talked about this. It wasn't a great situation for him.
No.
Getting out and experiencing EPL and experiencing a new environment with new players, I think was probably going to be the best thing for him, regardless of how it worked out.
The good news is he did get to play a lot of defense when he did play for Nottingham Forest.
You gotta look at that.
And, a lot of defense, and he showed he could do it. So there's that. So hopefully he takes that back to club. Hopefully Sahin is the right guy. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Sticking with the whole coaches talk, let's talk about the coach's salary of Copa.
Okay.
And where Berhalter falls in there.
At the bottom of that top 10.
Still.
Right. Well, what does that guy say? What did he post there? Scroll back up. Imagine if USSF actually opened up their pocketbook and paid a decent coach. Well, let me tell you this. Here's the problem with that, Jay. We love you, but, and this isn't us saying it. This was first Davey saying it, and then Brian McBride, who's pretty intimate with the U.S. Soccer, saying it. If we brought a big manager in and paid that manager $4 or $5 million a year, which is what it's going to take, we're going to have to pay Emma $4 or $5 million a year. And we can't afford that. Just bottom line. I know you see all these great sponsorships, but there's money going out to all these camps, all these, youth programs. It all costs a shitload of money. And, 10 million's a lot to spend when you combine both salaries. That's a lot of money to be spending on coaches.
So, yeah, and Jay's fully aware of that, too.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to that point, it's – we talked about this before it became public. I mean, everybody talked about it, really.
Yeah.
We all knew it. The writing was on the wall as far as what I mean, with the whole transparency thing and, the splitting of World Cup revenues. And you started looking at it like, well, no, it's going to have to go both ways. If they're going to pay Gregg, $2.4 million or whatever the fuck he's getting with bonuses, then they're going to have to pay Emma the same thing.
They do.
That's one of the arguments there.
They do have the same contract.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly the same contract with similar incentives and add-ons. And that's just the way it's going to be going forward. Sorry, guys. So going out and getting Mourinho for $6 million a year probably ain't going to happen. It's just not. We can't afford it because that's now 6 for Mourinho, 6 for Emma. That's $12 million annually for a coach. And they're not even paying Bielsa that much, I don't think. You can scroll down, but I don't think he's getting 5, 4. Yeah.
Gregg's in 2.2. That's right. I said 2.4, but
I mean, you might be able to get one of these guys on this list to jump from their team to your team. I mean, I'd certainly look into the Colombia coach. I think he's doing a fabulous job. But that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. Why would you leave Colombia to go coach the United States, except for maybe the World Cups in the United States? I don't know. I don't know if that guy speaks English either, which is a requirement by U.S. Soccer. You have to speak English, which, by the way, Bielsa doesn't like doing. So that's why he wasn't really considered. His English is rudimentary at best. And they want a coach. This is hilarious. This is really hilarious. Listen to me and what I say here. They want a manager who can sit in front of the press and media, answer questions in English in a thoughtful and provoking, thought-provocating way. Okay? That's a joke, right? Because that's it's not even what we got now. There's nothing thoughtful about a lot of Gregg's answers or 99% of his answers. So you might as well just, hired Bielsa and got a translator. Honestly.
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. So yeah, Gregg's at 2.2. I'm sure the bonuses for getting past this round or that round, but we don't know what those are behind the scenes, what the bonuses are.
Well, we obviously can gauge how much Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal are paying Marsh by not being in the top 10 list.
Somebody said today that Marsh's contract is rumored to be somewhere around between $4 and $3 million. He's getting paid more than Gregg.
And I haven't seen it on this list, but then two, what?
Yeah, but they don't know. Like, it wasn't disclosed, so I don't know if it was disclosed. I didn't see it. So.
Yeah, they're only able to account the second briefcase of money, right? Not the first one.
Yeah, I don't know how. They might have paid him in cash. Who knows? Here's your cash, buddy.
That scene from Dodgeball. People don't understand what $100,000 looks like. They open up the briefcase and it's just one little stack of cash.
Must be some big bills. But anyhow, I don't know where Jesse would end up on this, but the rumors are somewhere between 4 and 3.
Lou's got it right. That's 34 million Canadian dollars, which translates to about $9.95
in US dollars. I don't know what is the translation rate right now.
It's not that drastic between the two.
Right. I didn't think so.
Dollar to loony.
It's like 80 cents to $1.
$1.37 Canadian for one. I love the fact that I put dollar to loony and that's like the Canadian dollar or whatever. I know obviously a dollar in Canada is a loony, but still.
Oh, it does have a loony.
You can't take a country serious when their currency is loony and toonie, right?
I guess so.
I mean, come on. What did they do this on purpose? Or did Looney Tunes do this on purpose?
Didn't they used to have one with Queen Elizabeth on it too?
They still do.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they have
Looney and the Toonie.
They have some serious ones then. I just wonder when they're going to get Charles's ugly ass on a coin.
Paid in poutine and maple syrup.
I don't even know if Canada are the main distributors and
Chad Dollar versus Virgin Looney.
I don't know if they're the biggest makers of maple syrup or not. That could be us, actually, in the United States.
I still think they are, but yes, we definitely have our own solid enough market. That whole Northeast, thank you.
Yep, exactly. All right, what else we got?
Just moving right along in this list, man.
I know.
Hour and a half show, actually. I'm going to guess about 2 hour show.
Yeah, okay.
Derek, what's your thought process with playing out of the back all the time?
I think playing out of the back all the time, depending on what team you're playing against, and even if you're playing against an inferior team, puts you at risk for losing the ball and giving the other team an easy goal. So you better pick your time and place to do it. Like Belgium today did not. They fucked around and found out, and then they lost against Slovakia. I mean,
that happened with us against Colombia, right? We tried to play it out of the back and make a stupid pass, and we got capitalized on.
And we did it 3 times. The other thing somebody asked about the Belgian team, by the way, I found this very funny, and it was ESPN. Is this the end of Belgium's golden era? Golden generation? Yeah. Yes, it is. They're all old as fuck. Where have you been? Why is that a question on your show? The answer is obvious. It answers itself. In fact, the answer's been obvious for some time that they're old. They're over the hill. A lot of those players are over the hill now. They got to bring in the new generation of players.
Well, what was the Asia Cup question that was questionable? Not questionable, but stupid. Was it Japan and China have history? Or
no.
South Korea?
Dude, Japan. This is isn't it the guy on CBS? It was CBS, okay, and their coverage, Galazzo, and one of the guys, he has his own show on YouTube too, his own podcast. He asked Davies and the other guy, Nestor, can you tell me? I mean, is Japan and Korea, is that like a rivalry? Where the fuck are you? What world do you live on? Of course it's a fucking rivalry, you moron. You had to ask that? You couldn't have Googled that before the show. You couldn't have done a little bit of research? Of course it's a rivalry. It's been a rivalry for fucking thousands of years, dumbass.
Like Japan versus Korea. Look on video and you're like, no.
Jesus.
The horror.
I can't remember that dude's name. Somebody
It
remembers
was
his name.
the comedian, wasn't it? The comedian.
Is he a comedian? He has a soccer podcast. He's not very funny.
I think people have mentioned that he's a comedian. Kind of a comedian, like a sports comedian type thing.
Well, one of his shows just got recommended to me on YouTube this week.
Did you watch?
I watched it for 20 seconds, and it was so unentertaining. I just said, I can't watch this. And I turned it off and moved along.
About the easiest way to describe it, right?
Most countries in East Asia, countries' issues with Japan. Yes. They have long histories, folks. Long histories. Yeah. Most of the people that watch this show know that and would have answered or asked a stupid question like that. Was it the Cooligans guy? Yes, it is. Thank you. Yes, it is them.
There it is. Yeah, okay. I've seen that pop up as well, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Is he advertising that show? Or somebody advertising that show for him?
All I know is the show had been on there for 6 hours and there were like 300 views. So I'm like, must not be that entertaining, but I'll give it a chance because I've heard of these Cooligan guys. So I watched it and I'm like, oh, that guy again. I didn't know he was on this. And then I just hung in there. It's not like I don't already have to listen to him because, you know, when I'm bored, I'll put the Golazo Network up on CBS or Paramount and just watch it because it's soccer content, right? But no offense, I'm sure he's a great guy, a very nice guy in person. But asking that kind of question reveals a real ignorance about just general. You don't have to be American to know that. You don't have to be, you know, live in Japan to know that. That's just something you should know generally. I don't care where you're from. Like, yes, Japan, Korea, history. Yeah, big rivalry. All right. Ball knowledge analysis here says Chris Wilson, Football's Life. Brazil are historically the best ever, and we're able to string together more than 10 passes building out of the back. It is, in short, a pathetic thing to celebrate, even if it was a good build-up play, which it wasn't. Expectations are okay to have. So I'm imagining he's talking about this situation, which was, while this was happening live, we were like, oh, shit, oh, shit, oh, shit. I don't want to do that all game long.
Man, they come pressing.
Yep.
Who am I going to pass to?
Reem, I believe.
Split the seam.
Yeah, split the seam. Now, this one's impressive because Reem says, like, yeah, kicking around you, bitch. You overcommitted. And then we do get out. But this could have been nervous Nelly time for us. It really
anything could have gone wrong there.
Yeah, it didn't. And that's not even the whole thing, too. It clipped out a part at the beginning, which was even scarier than that. So it took us a while to get out of there. And then Joe Scally's like, and then Berhalter goes, pass it to Reem. He's the only guy that can kick the ball out of the back, apparently.
But he doesn't, though. It's not his thing in this game.
No, he gets it to Jedi because that's what he does. Anyhow, I mean, you can be prep, but I'd rather not F around and find out, even against teams we're better than, because, yes, it worked this time, but it didn't work 4 times against Colombia. It didn't work at all. And, you know, it didn't work for Belgium today. And, it only takes one minor mistake, and it's going right up your poop chute.
Yeah.
As what's-his-face used to say. He used to have a song called Don't Fool Yourself, Girl. It's going right up your poop chute.
Yeah, this is that one person you put me onto that was like an entire AI.
No. This is Frank Zappa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know who I'm talking about that you put me on?
Yes. Yeah, I do know. But no, that was Frank Zappa who wrote, Don't fool yourself, girl. It's going right up your poop chute. And this is what happens. Don't fool yourself either. This is something we want to be doing all game long, playing out of the back like that. And we didn't. We got smart on goal kicks. We're like, everybody up. Everybody up. Matt's just going to chunk this one into the other team's half, and we're going to go chase it. And I'd rather do that against a team that is much more skilled than us, like Brazil, than F around in our back and find out.
So that was a nice string of passes that didn't amount to anything offensively, at least. And then we got stuck in their defensive third.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's nice to see the string of passes, but what's nice? What's even nicer to see in that sense is sometimes just playing direct one ball and having a chance on goal. It may not be the prettiest thing in the world, and you may be giving up possession a lot, but I felt like most of our chances occur from that.
Here's the weirdest part about that. I often have seen, rewatching these videos, Balogun, when he's playing, sitting at midfield, right? And the two center backs are near him, and he's obviously faster than both of those center backs. Nobody's ever considered lumping a ball over the center back's head and just let Balogun go chase it. We rarely see that, and I just don't know why we never try it, especially if you're getting pressured in the back. That's one way to keep the opposition who's playing a press honest, is have Balogun right on that mid-line, because you can't be offsides, by the way. If they lump the ball and then you say, go, and he starts from the midline on our side of it and goes running after the ball. I know I had to say this because everybody here is going to know that, but there were people on X that didn't know. Remember that Maguire call where Maguire it looked like he was offsides because the center backs from the other MLS team had pushed higher up the field, and he was just sitting there on the center line. And as soon as they got possession, they just booted it over Maguire's head, and he went and chased it. They're like, that's offsides. And I literally had to type this on X. You can't be offsides if starting from your own half. People didn't know that rule. It was crazy. It's crazy to me. That's why people sit at the midline and wait for that lumping ball over the top and go chase it. If you're fast, if you're a center forward, most of the time you're faster than the center backs. You just go run after it. I mean, shit, that goes all the way back to middle school ball for me.
Oh, the chat's fun.
All right.
Chat's fun. We got to get some new names in the chat. Having fun.
Change God's FC, this weak-ass podcast. Oh, Yvonne's being very mean. I don't know what Change God's is.
I think it's more Ivan than Yvonne.
I don't care what it is if he's making fun of us. All right.
I mean, I don't care. It's fun. It's fun. I mean, people coming in to troll. It happens. Good times.
Not usually.
No, this is the first. This is actually first in a long time.
Yeah. Come on. I guess
they play into the conversation. So,
well, I guess we said something not so nice about one guy on the Cooligans. So there you go.
That can't be the reason why.
I don't know. We're getting some weird shit in there, though. There's no doubt about that. Stuff. I don't like the N-word in our. I don't know if you could get rid of that. That could get us canceled.
The Yahtzee one?
Yes.
No, not in the chat. It's not gonna be.
You don't think so?
No.
I've seen other people block stuff like that because they're like, I don't know about YouTube these days. I don't even know if they.
As long as we're not bringing it up to light, so let's stop talking about them.
Yeah. All right. Fine. What else we got?
Moving on to one of our favorite segments of the show, actually.
Oh yeah.
Transfer news. Transfer news. Who's getting mounted on transfer news? Who's getting over on transfer news? Transfer news. Everyone loves that transfer news, but me. Whatever.
All right. What do we got here? Just heard on Apple TV, the Crew goalkeeper Patrick Schulte is being tracked by what? We already covered this.
Did we? I don't think we did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. And I mean, he can go do that, or maybe it was Arsenal, or maybe it was
Derek, this came out on the 14th. How did we possibly cover this?
I don't know, because I think the rumor would come out even before this. On a different.
I don't recall Manchester United being linked to any of our players in the past.
Could have been another team that he's been linked in, because he's been linked to a couple teams so far. I don't know.
I don't even recall.
I don't know, but either way, if he's going to Manchester United, he's not playing. He's just going to go out on loan, probably somewhere in the championship, which is fine. But this kind of rumor is so out of left field. He's just going to become part of the transfer army there.
Well, he's being tracked. That's the key phrase, right?
Yes, being tracked, being ogled, being fondled from afar.
Yeah, this is the thing that's always being pushed, is that I guarantee you every single major team is, keeping track of somebody, keeping track of the top goalkeepers coming out of the league. Schulte's getting a high praise. He's going to go to the Olympics. Of course, people are going to keep an eye on him. I'm not saying they're going to be tracking him with any form of, pizzazz or, sticking with it, but they're absolutely going to be looking at it.
If he played the way he did in that Olympic friendly, the last game, he's not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's not the Man U, at least.
I just think that's a bad move for Schulte. It's not like he's a spring chicken either. I mean, just go over and, go to a championship team, go play in, I don't know, somewhere. But
he's like 22 years old for a goalkeeper. That's absolutely the definition of a spring chicken.
That's true for a goalkeeper. It is, but he's not Slonina young, right? But if you go to Europe, you're just gonna, like with Slonina with Chelsea, you're just gonna get loaned out for a while, not have a real home. Every season you're just gonna get loaned out. I mean, if he's ready for that, fine. But I mean, he's gonna be like the third string, fourth string keeper for a while, unless they believe in him in a way that we're.
But I mean, I guess one way to look at it though is when you're a high caliber player in MLS and you're garnering interest in Europe and stuff like that, MLS is going to start, taking that look, their abacus and adding a couple more of the over and over until all of a sudden like, yeah, he's going to be worth $8 million. All of a sudden you're like really pricing yourself out of like 99% of the teams in Europe, and it's just going to be the big teams that are going to do it. So you have the Chelseas, you have the Man U's that come out. No, I'm not saying Man U in this situation will do it, but let's just stick with Chelsea because Chelsea did it already a number of times.
But they're known for a loan army
as well. You get loaned out, but it is also the player's opportunity to break out and to get out into Europe at that point, because they've hit a point in MLS where MLS is rating them so high that Europe is like,
yeah. Like I said, he can do it as long as he understands the realities. And he will never play a game for Manchester United except for maybe a cup game if he's lucky. And that's it.
Sure. No, he's going to – no. If he goes to Man U, it's absolutely going to be on loan immediately.
Right. He'll play cup games at best. But, yeah, he's going out on loan. I just don't – I mean, Matthew Schulte, as far as being better with his feet, is he better than Matt? Yeah. Is he that much better than Matt? No. I think it's discernible when you watch him that Schulte's better with his feet, but he's also been playing soccer a lot longer than Matt Turner has. So that helps. But is he like, rock your world better than Matt Turner? No. So I just don't think that he's ready for that kind of a move. That goes without saying almost. Inter Milan are in talks with Venezia to sign Tanner Tessman. Well, they better be offering a lot because Venezia is going to hold on tight to Tanner Tessman.
Well, as it sounds like, they could get a transfer fee and then get Tessman back.
If that's the deal, go ahead and take it if you're Tessman, because you're just going to go play for Venezia for a season, right?
Hmm.
And you'll go back to Inter Milan after a season in Serie A, and hopefully to God it's a really good season, because if it isn't, and you have a real rough season, you go to Inter Milan, they're just going to loan you back out again. Again, I feel like I'm repeating myself like a broken record, but
repeat stuff.
Tanner Tessman had a great season at Venezia. He was the heart and soul of that team. Not saying he wasn't, but it's Serie B, people. This is a big step up, Serie A.
Sure. And this is the thing, right? He's if he does go to Inter and he's loaned back out to Venezia, he's guaranteed a season's worth of playing time in Serie A. Just make sure you show up, like you said.
You get paid more. Now, I mean, he's been there before. I know people are going to say, well, he already was at Serie A at one point. Yes, he was. He was younger.
Played for like a third of the season consistently.
Talking about 2 years ago, he's an actual man now. All right.
Like the first half of that season, Busio started over top of him.
Right.
My, how the tables have turned.
And nobody likes to be
the how the turn have taken.
Nobody likes to be the under. Anyhow, it did change because Tessman was drawing all the eyeballs from Serie A teams. No rumors.
It was Lazio for a while.
Yep, no rumors about Busio at all going anywhere that ever got thrown my direction from who. And usually I get that kind of thing, those kind of things thrown my way if they're out there, especially if they're under the table. But no, I asked, nothing on Busio, no teams interested. Fiorentina at Atalanta are also interested in Tanner Tessman. Venezia values him at 6 to 7 mil. Man, that's a deal.
That's a deal and a half, yeah.
That is a deal. So if there's a bidding war going on between Inter, Fiorentina, and Atalanta, Inter's going to win that bidding war because they're going to go, oh, they'll give you 6. Okay, we'll give you 8. And then somebody else go, well, we'll give you 8. Oh, no, we'll give him 10. We'll give you 10, Venezia. How you like that? You can even make your uniforms look even.
How do you like me now?
I mean, I love Venezia's kits. Just love them. I thought about buying one myself because just the top. I'm not going to go full kit nerd, full kit. We used to have a word for that.
Do people still do that though? Like, I mean, do they go out and they get like the shorts and the socks and they go out to pick up games on Sunday and wear the whole garb?
Some people do, Brett.
I say, I mean, I can see about getting like an authentic top, and paying an arm and a leg for it.
Full kit wanker. Thank you, Hunter Higgs. He got it right. That is correct. Derek, are you a top or a bottom? Yep. Depends what she wants to do. And that was back in the day. I don't plan to be doing that anymore. You scroll back up. We missed one here. I saw a good question. Is Tessman really that good? I think was the question. Don't remember who from, but we missed it. Is he really that good yet to play for Inter? To be a starter on Inter? No, he's not. No, but
he could be a situational player. But even then, I don't think he's gonna crack it
to play for Inter.
I don't think he'd crack. I don't think. I know he wouldn't crack Inter right now.
Not yet. He's got a long way to go. He's still young, relatively, so he could grow. He could become wiser. I don't think he's going to become suddenly overnight technically that much better than he is now. I think those days are over. But I think he'd become a wiser player, a smarter player. Huh?
I think Tessman's biggest issue when it comes to a team like Inter, or even Atalanta for that matter, is pace. He's not the fastest center midfield out there. I think he's technically fine.
Right.
I think he could become wiser, positioning himself better, putting himself in the spots that's going to help him succeed. But I think when you look at Inter playing, they were incredibly fast through the midfield into the attack. Same thing with Atalanta for that matter. So he would have to become wiser if he's going to ever have a dream to crack Inter's starting 11.
Because you're not going to really become much faster. You're not going to become that much more technically gifted. You could become more tactically aware as well. I mean, listen. You've seen a lot of great Italian players over the years. Some of them haven't even been that technically gifted or fast. But you know what they are? They're tactical geniuses. And that can go a long way. So he can still grow in that area. But and he's going to need to, because making the leap to one of the big top 5 teams in Italy is going to be a battle to be on a starting lineup. It is. It's just going to be for Tanner right now. That's why I like the loan back to Venezia for a season, see how that works out, and then take it from there. Busio is better than Tessman in international football. I don't think either of them have gotten that much of an opportunity lately. I know Tessman was thrown into the midfield in that last friendly for the Olympics and didn't look good, but that's not all his fault. He also looked really tired, to be honest.
And outside of that Gold Cup with where Hoppy starred, I don't think we saw too much from Busio anywhere else.
Yeah, Fumar, they both got a long ways to go. Both of them, long ways to become increased soccer IQ, increased tactical understanding of how the game works.
I love how you're reading the chat, but you're not reading the comment I have pulled up from the chat.
Inter has American ownership, so they'll do things like this. Yeah, I agree. But then again, he may never play for Inter.
Yeah.
He will be loaned out again and again until they feel like he's really, really ready for the Serie A.
Given his pace, he's gonna if he's gonna want to have an opportunity to play for a team like Inter at this point, it's gonna have to be as an out-and-out 6.
Yes.
I don't think he's not gonna have the pace really to command a more advanced role for that team.
It's going to be real tough. So, and he plays sort of a 6/8 for Venezia this season, and he played right in the middle of the field. And he had some deadly moments. He had some great moments. Again, it's Serie B. He played some really shitty teams this season, really, really bad.
Yeah.
And he shined against some of those. And then he had some moments against some of the better teams that were fighting for promotion too. So I'm not taking that away from him. Just moving to Serie A, it's going to be a bitch as a promoted team. It always is for all the promoted Serie B teams.
Yeah.
It's just a bitch to stay up because you just don't have the money to spend. In this case, Venezia might go out and spend some more money. We don't know how much. They're going to have to spend something, or else it's just going to go right back down again.
I feel like in Italy though, you have a better chance of staying up from just being promoted than if you would say a recently promoted EPL side.
Yeah,
that's it. Because everybody above you has so much more money, anyways, to drop on that. Daniel does ask if Tessman is the captain for Venezia. He did captain.
I thought he did. Yeah, I thought he did.
Over the last 2 years in Serie B, he did captain a number of games. I remember that coming up.
Yeah.
But I mean, every game, it was always like he was the most highly rated. He was the talking point for almost every game. He was arguably their best player, hands down.
I think that's, yes, arguably their best player by far, which is why everybody's going after him. And there's really no other players on Venezia that are getting this much attention from other Serie A, big name Serie A teams.
I think of the teams mentioned, I think Fiorentina would probably be nicer in that sense because he'd have a much better chance of cracking the team in the end. And I'm not even saying that he would either there, but I'm just saying he would have a much better chance.
I mean, yeah, Inter Milan won the league this year.
Yeah.
So you're going to the best team in Italy, essentially, with a great coach. Is the coach going to stay, or did somebody rip him away from Inter Milan yet? I don't know. Alex better for $2. Tessman can play as a 6, but he's better as an 8. Yeah, we saw him play a 6/8 for Venezia this season. But Brett was just talking about if he goes to a really good team, he's probably going to be thrown in the 6 role. It's possible depending on how the team plays. They play 6/8 and let's say they play 2 holding mids in a 4-2-3-1. He can play one of those holding mids spots for sure. So, but depending on the team, he ain't going to Inter Milan and doing that. Because that is a big step forward. And we have been big Tessman supporters here, but I just think sometimes you need to take it a step at a time in your career instead of making that gigantic move to a gigantic team and never play and just get loaned out. So every year you're at a new team with a new coach that knows you're a loan player, and they're like, well, consequences for him are not very big here because he's a loan player. I mean, if there's an option to buy, then I guess you're like, well, maybe he can fight for that option to buy part, and we'll think about it. So it'll all depend on the manager, the team, and circumstances in general. So, all right.
There's a big argument an argument enough in the chat talking about whether or not Tessman is better than Maloney, and I don't know. I've seen a hell of a lot more of Maloney than Tessman, so I'm leaning into the Maloney camp here.
I'm guessing the people who don't think Maloney's very good watch just maybe 1 or 2 games all season for Heidenheim. I watched all of them. I know how goddamn good Maloney is at being a pure destroyer. He's one of the best in the Bundesliga at pure destruction and closing down lanes and cutting off ankles for the opponent who have possession. It's what he does. He's really good at it. If you don't know that, you haven't watched him.
And as BMR says here, Maloney and Tessman are totally 2 different profiles.
Oh, they are, because Tessman's not a pure destroyer in any way. No.
Nope.
Yep,
so, I mean, it's what you're asking of the rule in that 6, or the double pivot, I guess you could say, when it comes to the United States national team, right? So, in the double pivot, Maloney is a very job-specific 6, but he's not going to offer anything moving into the attack. He's there to shore up the defense, and that's about it.
Yep. He's not going to make amazing through passes every game. He's not going to lump balls to the wings so they can run onto it. That's not Maloney's job at Heidenheim. His job is to shut down the other team's offense.
Yep.
That's what he does.
And
Kind of
he breaks
like
up the plays, he passes it off to somebody else, and then he walks away. It's like, my job's done.
he's just a much larger Adams.
He's a more advanced center back. That's all he is.
Yeah, he's an advanced center back. It's a good way to put it. Yep. Yeah. But he is a destroyer, like Adams is like a pure destroyer. Adams is a pure destroyer. He's not going to make wonderful, amazing through passes every game for you. He might get one here and there. He'll
make the occasional
switching the field,
shot.
hit an occasional amazing shot.
Once every 3 years.
Right. He'll make an occasional switching the fields pass. Maloney's done that this season too for Heidenheim, but it's not something that he does on a regular basis. Either of those two. But they're the closest like for like between one another. So it is about player profiles. It's almost impossible to compare Tessman and his role at Venezia, which is more advanced than Maloney. Maloney is, as Brett said, almost a third center back.
Daniel goes, Maloney's a big guy. He doesn't poop. He shits.
He is a large mammal. I think he's 6'1", 6'2", I believe. 6'2".
Yeah.
Whereas Adams is 5'8". So, he's got like 6 inches on Adams.
Mm-hmm. All right. So staying in Serie A. The swap. Go ahead, you got it.
Yeah, the swap deal between Juventus and Aston Villa, which would bring Douglas Luiz of Juventus, is blocked. There is no final agreement between McKennie and the English club. Yes, because the English club is refusing to also increase his wages. And so his agent's saying, no. If you want McKennie and this deal's going to get done, you got to pay McKennie more than he's making right now.
Mm.
And a significant amount more, because there are guys on the Juventus bench making more than McKennie. And rightly so. There are bench warmers on Juventus that have higher wages than McKennie, and he's upset about it.
Okay, so no, it sounded like you were saying rightly so that there are bench players that are making more.
No.
I understand what you say now, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, rightly so. That
he's pissed off because of that.
Yes, he's upset, and
man, it's one of those things. They Juve paid what, 25 to 28 mil or whatever for him from Schalke, something like that, or 23 or 25, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that? It was something along those lines, right? But anyways,
yeah.
They paid so much for him. Man, if he doesn't do anything this summer off season, he's entering his final year of his contract with Juve, who could just opt to not play him at all. So
yeah, they could play hardball.
Well, I mean, by the time they play hardball in January gets around, he could already start negotiating on a free exit.
The report today was they're working on it, and this could still get done by the end of this month, this deal. And it might include more players. Well, they did mention some players already that the deal would include. Other players besides just these two, heading Juventus's way for McKennie. But we'll see. Aston Villa would be fine. He's going to have to battle his ass off to be a regular starter there. He'll start some games. He won't others probably, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. By the way, there have been up to 339 people watching. Make sure if you're on X, you give it the thumbs up. If you are here on YouTube, to like and subscribe. There, I got it in, Brett.
Good job. Appreciate that.
I always forget, and I haven't forgot though for like 6 shows in a row now.
Oh wow, we actually have more people on YouTube watching than on Twitter. There's 158 people currently on Twitter watching.
Okay, almost half and half though. Yeah,
sort of.
Weston McThug.
Slightly over.
All right. Sounds like a McDonald's hamburger. I'd like a Weston McThug, please. I'm hoping that he stays at Juve too, BMR, honestly, because That's pretty much guaranteed Champions League ball every year.
Sure.
But, you know, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if McKennie really wants to go back to the EPL after what he experienced last time either. And, you know, if you go look at the Aston Villa fan chats, I mean, they're already shitting all over him, you know. They're like, we don't want him. Keep that fat ass there. I mean, they're saying horrible things about Weston.
I mean, it's gonna be nice. It'll be nice if Juve do come to a deal with Weston, or maybe just like, you know, a slight increase on the salary. Maybe that's enough. And Aston Villa and Juve play each other in Champions League.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun. I do think that Weston does look a little chunkier all of a sudden. I do agree with that. I think he came into this camp recently looking a little more chunky. Even my mom noticed. She's like, Weston looks like he put weight back on again. His face gets like she said it's really evident when he gains a little weight because it shows up right in his face.
Yep. Well, I mean, even Diego had mentioned that he's always had a kind of a chubbier face.
Mm-hmm.
But saying that when he's lean and sharp, you can see it.
Yes.
His cheeks. And then when he starts to gain a little more, like maybe when he's out partying a little more, drink a little extra more champagne or whatever, eating ranch with more ranch on top of ranch, that might be the issue.
I hope he makes real ranch. I hope that's not that ranch shit, Hidden Valley shit out of a bottle. Because that shit tastes like ass. That's all I'm saying. If you make your own ranch with the packet and some mayo, some Dick's mayo, and preferably. You never had Dick's mayo? It's like the best mayo you can have, Brett.
Oh my goodness!
And then milk.
Is that right? Hold on. Is that the same people who make Dick's cheese?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not. But that's gross. No, Dick's is the best mayo. I'm surprised you haven't tried that. What are you, a Kraft guy? Kind of mayo guys? Hellman's.
I go Hellman's, I guess, if I do mayo.
Yeah, try Dick's. You'll like it.
There's so many jokes there to be made there. The entire time you were talking about Dick's mayo, I'm just saying.
It's good stuff, man. You love that Dick's mayo. It's a real brand, people out there. Go look it up.
I feel like if you're a company and you're making a product, your name is Dick's, and that's what you're going to label on it. Mayo or anything white just seems. I mean, unless you're leaning into it, of course. You know, maybe their family name is not even Dick's. Maybe it's like the Johnsons, and well, that makes sense too, though.
Since
Dick's is funnier. Let's go with Dick's. That's more memorable.
Since I did my food research, Dick's really don't worry me anymore. So yeah, it's called Dick's mayonnaise. It's damn good. All right.
Blue cheese is not awful.
Blue cheese with wings is really good. But I do understand what he's saying. I've had some blue cheeses that are way too strong. And then I've had some that are kind of like that, strike that perfect balance for wings. I don't use it on salad.
I was about to ask you about blue cheese on a salad.
No, it's got to be
blue cheese on a burger.
I've done it.
Black and blue.
It wasn't horrible, but usually not. No, that's something I do normally.
Dick's mayonnaise.
Jesus Christ. There's nobody out there who uses Dick's mayonnaise. No one. No one wants to admit they buy Dick's. All right, whatever. Hell, I mean, Kraft and Hellman's are
Weston did to the show. I mean, what a spin! What a spin!
Oh, it's Duke's. Oh my God, it is Duke's. It's Duke's, Alex. Thank you. I've been saying Dick's the whole time. It's Duke's.
Yeah, okay, no, Derek, lean into it. You did that for the laugh, right? Did it for the laugh.
It is Duke's. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Oh boy, man. I don't know how I got that wrong. I've been buying Duke's now for like years. Anyhow, Duke's mayo. Sorry.
Creamy Dick's mayonnaise.
If there is a Dick's mayo, I apologize for doing a 10-minute commercial.
I feel like you have to. Somebody's gonna have to do it now, right? Hey guys, if we get some more super chats, Derek and I are going to start a mayonnaise company, and it's just Dick's mayonnaise.
We should. That's kind of like
at the very minimum, it's got to be like the spray company, the on-field spray company that we came up with back in the old day.
That, and when we almost bought Dickens Cider. Remember when we almost bought that company?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, how right?
The copyright name, at least. Start a real company called Dickens Cider. Dickens Cider. All right. What else we got?
Kevin goes Dukes, Dicks. It's all the same to Derek. Oh man, that was a couple minute clip worthwhile for Twitter right there, guys. Somebody's got to get that going.
Come and get our creamy mayo. That's Alex better. Oh my God! Thoughts on tax predictions on Copa? We're going to do our own predictions on Thursday. I thought his were pretty decent. A little surprised he had Canada making it all the way to the semis, but honestly, for some of these games, you might as well break out a coin and flip it. Mm-hmm. It's really, it's going to be really hard to say who's going to win some of these games.
Was it over this past weekend and everything? I'm down here and my son's asking for something like that. Can I stay up for like another 15 minutes or whatever? And I go, we'll let a coin flip decide, or Jack. So I pull up that coin flip thing that we used to have whenever we had to make a decision.
Right. It was too close to call. Yeah.
Oh no, he had two different pictures he drew. One was blue and one was red. He goes, "Which one do you like?" I'm like, "I like the blue one better." And he goes, "Yeah, I picked the blue one too, but Mommy and Charlie picked the red one." So I'm like, "All right, flip a coin." We flip the coin. I go, the blue is heads, red is tails.
Mm-hmm.
And we flipped it and it was heads. He goes, do it again. Let's verify. Flip again. Heads. Oh man, here, Jackson, we'll try one more time. Heads.
Mm-hmm.
What the odds of this? Heads. It was like 7 heads in a row.
Yeah.
And I guess blue wins.
You can flip it 100 times. I guess they've done the research on this. Heads wins 51-49 every time. Not every time. Sure, there are outliers when you do that, but 100 times usually even it back up, right? You would think. All right. What are we going to do here? We're going to talk about.
Let's talk about the main topic, I guess. So we can talk. We'll talk about Copa afterwards, I guess, because we do have the roster and nothing really to talk about. Huge. Actually, let's talk about that because that's a quick. It's a quick topic. And then we'll talk about the main topic here.
Okay.
Is
anybody surprised that it was Timothy Tillman who got left off? Some people would say Shaq Moore needs to.
Well, that's the thing though. If Berhalter had tried Musa or Weah at right back, then I would have been saying, yeah, Shaq Moore is the one to go.
Yeah,
but he let Scally play 90% of the games, and then he brought in Shaq in again against Brazil for like the last 10 minutes.
Right.
So yeah, that didn't surprise me at all. I knew Tillman at that point. I knew Tillman or McKenzie. It was one of those two.
Yeah. Once that we didn't really
5 center backs, man. 5 center backs. We really need 5.
Once we didn't see any experimentation, including, maybe Moose out there or even Richards. You could try him out there. He played that for Crystal Palace. Very defensive. But then Scally goes out and plays himself 2 pretty darn good games and locks down his spot. According to Berhalter in the interview, though, he locked down his spot on the roster, not on the starting 11. Come on.
There's not gonna be a goddamn change. What we saw against Brazil is who's probably going to be starting in the first match against Bolivia.
I just can't believe after all of that, and those 2 good performances against 2 of the best offensive players in the world, you don't at least give Joe Scally's nuts a tickle. Just a little tickle. Graze them gently. Give him a 2-second reach around, at least. But, that solidified his place on the roster. The roster? Did Shaq Moore do that well in his brief time there that he hasn't solidified his spot in the starting 11? That's crazy. Like the most diss guy by matter of omission on the U.S. men's national team is definitely Joe Scally. Like nobody talked about him leading up to these games, even though they talked about Dest constantly. Who's going to replace Dest? Who's going to play right back? Oh yeah, well we got all of these different solutions and things in mind. You know, we're not going to try any of them, by the way. But you know, it was never. You know, we trust Joe Scally. We believe in Joe. We think he can do the job. Well, Berhalter trusted him enough and played him. He didn't say it out loud because maybe he was waiting, as you said, for Scally to hang himself out there.
Yeah. So before we get too far away from the previous joke and the super chat that came through, and it'd be weird if we brought it up later as a throwback. And we'll cover it real quick.
Labrador for $1.99. Dick's Mayo goes great with ice cold Schmidt's Gay. Oh yeah, that skit. That's Schmidt's Gay. That was this SNL skit.
That was Schmidt's Sweaty Balls or Sweaty Balls?
No. Sweaty Balls is totally different. Schmidt's Gay was a totally different beer.
Oh,
it was
okay,
it was a beer commercial.
Oh, was that what with Adam Sandler and
yes,
Chris Farley? They pop it open and all of a sudden there's like all the buff dudes and like Speedos.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Yeah.
I remember that
That's
skit.
right. That's right.
That's an old school skit. That's back when
Classic. Back when you know SNL was funny.
Yeah, back when they were funny.
SNL was funny.
Yeah. So no surprise. This roster's no surprise.
Sargent's probably the only one that could be considered a surprise because I say could be because it seems like all the pundits were thoroughly surprised. That's like, I mean, Sargent didn't play at all in the friendly windows. How could he be on the Copa one?
But then they must have missed all of Gregg's interviews in pre and post game because he was giving people an update in each of those, almost all of them. And I understand why they might have missed those because they're not published.
It's their job. They should be able to see all that shit.
I agree. Those do get published kind of late by U.S. Soccer late in the game. And they all should have access. But you're right. Like if you're paying attention, Gregg's saying, listen, he's getting better. And the last report was it's looking a lot better. And I think he's going to be good for the tournament. So,
well, I mean, again, he was playing for Norwich, and mind you, of course, you know, he got subbed out late in matches, and they talk about how, you know, his ankle hasn't fully healed. Well, what do you do at that point? You bring him into camp, and you let him train by himself on a bike, let him recover during that time period, ice it. You have your medical staff keeping an eye on him. You know, it's not surprising. I'm not surprised at all that he got included here. It's because he's more than capable of playing in the last half of the championship.
And that's weeks ago.
Yeah, he should be more than capable at this point to play in Copa. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a 90-minute starter every fucking game.
Right.
But he could start a game. He could come in late in the second. It shouldn't be a shocker. And they're like, oh, he wasn't even on the 18 for or 23 or whatever for that any of those friendlies.
I don't get why they're shocked. It's their job. They're getting paid. We don't get paid. It's ridiculous, and we know more than they do. So yeah, more than likely, if you do see Sargent, it'll probably be like last 10 minutes in the group stage of some of the game, probably the second one. I don't think we'll see him in the first one even. If they feel comfortable, they'll throw him out for 10 minutes and the second game and see how he holds up. You know, why is Sean Johnson on this team? He's a vibes guy. BMR.
And I know Tim's saying young keepers are with the Olympic squad. I would rather see somebody like Celentano or any number of younger, capable MLS goalkeepers at this point. I'm not saying you have to go as young as, say, Chris Brady or anybody like that, since obviously this is like his first main year breaking out. But
or just bring someone who earned it.
Yeah, I'm just saying that there are younger goalkeepers that actually have, well, I would say a future in MLS still. Again, I think Celentano would be a great inclusion. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see him brought into some like the Camp Cupcakes or something like that and get a look at him. But
yep,
I'm not gonna get it. But
I'm
still,
surprised.
I think Johnson is a waste of a spot here, and I'm a Chicago guy, and I like Sean Johnson. I defended him after that Olympics blunder, 4 Olympics ago.
I'm just surprised to see Stefan. Who's been in regular contact with Gregg and has had a decent season after a rough start with Colorado, has had a pretty good season. But again, bringing Stefan in brings that conflict that Stefan wasn't willing to accept when he got the call from Gregg for the World Cup, which was, hey, I'll bring you, but you're not starting. That's Turner. Turner's our guy. Stefan was not happy with that. We've gone over that phone call. We've got the leaks. We gave it to you. And after that, Berhalter basically just decided, well, if that is going to be his attitude, I don't need that kind of controversy at the World Cup. So I'm going to just bring safe dudes who are going to be happy playing the number 2. I mean, who's more happy with playing number 2 than Horvath?
You're number 1. I'm number 2.
I want to be on the bench. Yeah. Go ahead.
I got my spot. It's right here.
Right.
Right, but technically that's how Gregg viewed it. Experienced guys at Copa, upcoming rookies at Olympics, and people are mentioning that the Olympics are going to have a third goalkeeper in reserves in case something were to say happen to first and second slot. They could call upon. So maybe that would be the Brady role in that situation, and this is why they did what they did.
You forgot to remind me in pre-show to tell you 2 inside stories I can't say on the show.
I do remember that now. I forgot all about that, Derek.
Oh, man, I got some shit to tell you after the show. And I'm really sorry to everybody else I can't share this with you, but if I did, it would literally reveal.
It's about Derek and I starting Dick's Mayo. It's going to happen.
No, it's some inside shit that happened in the U.S. men's national team that maybe at some point we'll be able to reveal, but right now we can't. Because it would seriously put the inside person in jeopardy.
It's Berhalter.
It's about Berhalter, yes.
Oh, no. I was saying that the insider was Berhalter.
No, because I tell you what, that information is so embarrassing. It really is. It's just.
He has BJ tie his shoes for him. Sorry,
well,
guys.
The only thing I can tell you, because it's public knowledge, is that Berhalter took the team to Gettysburg. That's it. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you in the last window.
Well, you told me over the phone, yeah.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I can say. And, start.
You wanted to recreate his favorite scene from Remember the Titans.
I looked that up to make sure it was public before I said it. But it is public that he took the team there. You can only imagine all the metaphors he might have drawn. Just in your own minds, think about it. Right? And they're probably all inappropriate, comparing playing soccer to war. Not saying that's what he did, just saying you could come up with those.
Thank goodness the South didn't fight like African dogs.
Right, but there's some situations
Otherwise, we'd be speaking French right now.
Oh, there's some situations I wish I could talk about. I can't say this, because we already knew it, but the team's really cliquey. Like there's some serious groups.
We knew this. Yeah. We knew this before GeoGate, but especially during GeoGate.
Yeah, I mean, there are guys that hang out with each other, other guys that don't have their own little group. Like it's very cliquey out there, and that can be bad. It can be bad. Doesn't have to be bad, but it can be, right? So that's something to keep an eye on as we move forward as a cliquey team. And we already know because Pulisic revealed who his best friend on the team was. And that's Tyler Adams in an interview this week. And we know who one of Tyler's best friends is, Wes McKennie. And we know. So, yes, rumors coming out of camp are very cliquey team with definitely some guys who are not in the clique. They're not in it yet, maybe because they're new or newer. Their English sucks or whatever. Some of them have still battling, trying to learn English.
Hey, I think Musa and Flo's English is perfectly fine.
Well, Musa, yeah, he's English practically.
That's the point. That was the joke.
Right. Okay, I get it. But like, for instance, if a Maloney would have come to camp, his English it's workable. It's workable, but not. It's kind of like when Timmy Chandler refused to do interviews in English because he could speak some English, but he was very uncomfortable with it. So, yeah. So there we go. That's
not a whole hell of a lot to talk about. this roster. We knew exactly what we were getting whenever they named 27 instead of 26. It was questionable. Again, who could be that man out? But
I think
this surprised nobody. I think
No.
should have surprised nobody.
No, did not. Tillman, older Tillman being out, not surprising. Copa America dual nats. So yeah, just so people know, because we get other people who say things like, he's not American enough or whatever. Well, practically the whole team are dual nats. So, if you got a problem with that, maybe you should just stop watching the U.S. men's national team. I'm a dual nat. All right. So it's just the way things work now. Even Ream could have played for England. People don't know that.
So it's like Adam's the only one who's not a dual nat on our team.
That's probably true.
It looks like it. Is Horvath on here? I don't see Horvath. He's right there, Derp.
Yes. No, he could play for Hungary. Or could have. So it's just the way things are, right? That's the way the world is right now. Soccer's an international sport. You're going to have a lot of mixing and moving around. And by the way, based on the law, FIFA's laws, really, honestly, I didn't know McKennie was Jamaican as well. I did not know
McKenzie.
That.
You're looking at McKenzie.
Oh, that's McKenzie. You're right. Can't read.
I didn't even look up at him. Like, nope, that's McKenzie you're looking at there. Because I'm like, I don't see McKennie on here. So McKennie and Adams are the two that are sticking out to me that are not dual nets.
Right. It's just normal these days because all you need is a grandmother or a grandfather, and you pass as a dual net. That's all you need, a grandma or a grandpa to pass. That it was from somewhere else. And, in my case, both of my grandparents on my mom's side are German citizens. My mom was a German citizen. So
Reyna's not English. He doesn't have English citizenship.
Yes, he does. He was born in Sunderland. Yes,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We've talked about this. There requirements for England. It's not just being born in their country.
That may have changed. And it doesn't matter what England thinks. It's what FIFA thinks. And FIFA's rules say he was born there, he's qualified to play there. Doesn't matter if he's a citizen or not. Yep. It's just a one-time switch. You don't even have to be a citizen to go play for another country. You just need to have legitimate eligibility. And then, a path to citizenship, right? And I'm sure Pulisic was Reyna was balls out, just like the best player in the world. England would have probably made some exceptions and figured out a way to get him, citizenship immediately. And I don't know how English laws work. In most countries in Europe now, if you're born there, that's good enough. It didn't used to be the case in Germany, but now it is.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I'm not going to talk about it with any form of confidence until I look it up. But
well, let's look it up. Not now, but I believe this is correct. He could have easily gotten an English passport. No problem. He was born in Sunderland. England may be one of the rare countries that doesn't have birthright citizenship.
I thought Italy had the same thing.
They might. Germany doesn't anymore. They used to. I know. My brother was born there. He didn't get German citizenship until much later after. So, and I don't know why they even bother doing that, honestly. I mean, we went back to Germany a number of handful of times. Maybe that's why he got citizenship. But
I thought in order to be considered English citizenship, like one of your parents have to be like an English citizen or something like that. Again, I may be talking out my ass. I'm not 100% positive.
Well, we don't know, so we are talking out of our ass. So let's stop doing it. All right.
I'm going to ask you a few questions. Yeah.
If we don't know, we probably should stop talking about it.
No, let's keep going until someone wants to prove us wrong.
No, let's keep going until we look like idiots. No, we have not studied each country's citizenship pathways. So that would be something we'd have to do.
I'm only going to do it for a select few countries in Europe, because outside of that, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, England, Germany.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Hey, the only reason why I want to look this up now is to see if I was right or wrong.
I would like to look it up now too, but we don't have all night.
All right, hold on. I'm pulling it up now.
No, don't do it. We'll be here for 3 hours again.
So the main topic really is what would Berhalter have to do in order to win you over? We kind of talked about this a week or so back.
Yep.
I had started a poll on Twitter. We had 241 votes on it, and it was the two highest options were semifinals or nothing.
You didn't do what you did in pre-show. You said to me, Derek, let me whip out my poll.
Yeah, yeah, I know. This is the problem with talking before the show, Derek, is we waste all of our good one-liners.
You blew that one. That shit was funny, man.
That's what she did.
You should have definitely said that tonight. Let me whip out my poll. That's what you should have said before pulling this up. All right.
Hindsight's always 2020.
Usually you want to forget matches like Saturdays, but growing trend of uninspired performances for U.S. men's national team. What would it take for you to keep Gregg as manager if you were Betty Crocker? And I guess number one answer was semifinals.
Yeah.
But I think that bar is much lower for Betty Crocker than it is for the rest of us.
Yeah, Betty's just like, make it to Copa. Oh, we're already there. All right, there we go.
More than anything, what I would need to see, and I said this on Pete's show this weekend, I said, I want to watch the next game against Bolivia and go, Eureka! We figured out how to break down a low block. And then I want to watch the next game versus Panama and go, Eureka! We figured out how to be a team we're way better than it, and we did it like easily in comfort. 3-0 or whatever it's going to be. And then when we play Uruguay. It's Uruguay, right? Uruguay's in our group.
Yeah.
I want to see us be super competitive. Super competitive. I want to see us push the envelope. And I don't want to see a lot of fucking around in the back. I don't want to see a lot of stupid risk-taking.
You want to see another Brazil is what you want to see.
I want to see a pragmatic game plan that makes sense. Yes. And I want to see them go out there and, again, Eureka! Gregg's figuring shit out. And then when we go on the knockout stage, and let's say it's against Colombia or Brazil, I want to see Eureka again. I want to see this team come out and play pragmatic ball, really take it to the opposition, and put their backs against the wall and play super great against them. And then, even after that, I'm going to have my questions. And I probably won't be satisfied because, you've been watching the show long enough. It's going to take quite a bit more than that to satisfy me. But that'll be enough for Matt Crocker. And I still won't necessarily maybe have been won over by Gregg. I don't think that's possible for me because he's been so erratic. We have a horrible game. Then we play a great game against Mexico. Then we have a horrible game. Then we play a great game against Mexico. Like, how long can that trend continue? We struggle against Trinidad and Tobago. Then we crush Mexico. We struggle against Jamaica, soccer terrorists who self-implode constantly. We have barely get into the final. Then we crush Mexico, crushing Mexico is just so less and less and less impressive than it used to be.
Yeah.
Brett?
Even if we do the all liquor advertisements, we're still better.
Brett, where were you? Why'd you abandon the U.S. Soccer Council? Ballet.
At a dance recital I went to, and I was debating, since I pulled BMR's comment up here. I was debating whether or not I want to say, I went to a dance recital and I dropped about $100 in ones, but I refrained from that because it was my daughter's dance recital, and that would have been weird.
Yeah.
So,
it'd been even weirder. It'd been even weirder if your 6'2" ass frame was out there doing dance recital at 265 pounds or whatever.
Derek, I've been working out. I'm fleet of foot.
Are you? Okay. Okay. So yes, you got a dance recital. I don't know. This is just what we think Betty will do. And I think Betty's going to be way gentler than this.
This is if you put yourself into Betty's shoes, the 6-inch high heels, and you had to make the decision, this is what you would do.
I think this is pretty close. I think I need to see semifinals. Or if I'm Betty, I mean, if I'm Betty right now, he's already gone. Let's put it that way. Right? But if I see an amazing, inspiring, eureka moment for Gregg time and time and time after again, game after game after game, like he's really finally figured it out. He's going to stop playing his stupid ass system, stubbornly, regardless of the opponent. If I can see that, I might have some hope for Gregg, but it's going to be small, and he's got a long ass way to go for me to go, you know what? Well, I think Gregg figured this out.
So we sat here and we praised it. We gave him a credit for the Brazil games. And hey, well done. You figured out a game plan that worked for you. Yep. I fully suspect, though, we're coming into the game against Bolivia, and Greg may be looking at this going like, on paper, guys, we should win this game. So we're going to play our game and take it to Bolivia. And I don't think we're going to necessarily figure out how to break the low block because we don't know how to break the low block.
I know if we go back to Gregg's old system versus a low block, it's going to be a painful ass game. So if Gregg, on the other hand, says, all right, when Bolivia does have possession and they're moving up to midfield and we steal it from them, we're going into quick transition mode. Mm-hmm. And I see that time after time after time. Quick transitions, players moving through lanes, looking for a quick pass. And you could call that a counter if you want, but it just has to be quick transitions for me. We're fast transitions. Doesn't have to be literally a counter ball where you lob it up and let somebody chase it, but just quick transitions. If I see that, then I know Gregg's learned something. If we go back to letting the other team play a low block and we kick it around the shoehorn and keep possession and let them get everybody behind the ball before we do anything, then Gregg's learned dick. He's learned dick playing against a low block.
Mm-hmm.
So
I fully suspect it's gonna be regressing back, and we may dominate the game from possession standpoint, but again, if we're gonna let them just camp back in the defense because we took 25 passes to get into their offensive third, it's not going to amount to hill beats,
right?
So I too, especially in this situation, you can play out the back. But we have the opportunities for quick transitions. I want quick transitions, and I want shots from outside the box.
Yes,
Those are my two big things right there.
Right, two things: quick transitions when gaining possession off of Bolivia before they can get back in the low block completely 100%, which we allowed Trinidad and Tobago to do all night, and we allowed Jamaica to do it all game long. No quick transitions. I mean, what the hell were we thinking? I was screaming at the screen as we covered that live. What are we doing? Now we just let them get back into the low block. We had the possession. We could advance the ball quickly up the field and try to hit them before they could get everybody back. But no, we got possession. We kicked it back to Tim Ream or whoever's playing center back. They kicked it around the shoehorn for a while and let them get right back into the low block. It's just insane, and you can't keep doing it. You got to stop doing that. And if I don't see a change there, then no. And I hope you're wrong, Brett. I hope he learned something about quick transitions. But I'm gathering you're probably right. We're going to let Bolivia get into a low block again all game long and just kick the ball around the shoehorn. That's what we like to do. So
I'm hoping that. Again, I'm hoping the Brazil match was more of an eye-opener than anything, that we can play quick out. And yeah, we played out of the back. Sometimes with sketchy as shit. Sometimes it was perfectly fine. We made great passes. We made bad passes. It happens. But then again, we did also we pressed quick.
Yeah.
And we got the ball up to our more dangerous attackers in an instant, and we had opportunities. So
I just want to cut out sketchy, and I want to see more movement off the ball. I want to see McKennie, if he's. This is the other thing too. If he's playing the 10 on offense again, I want to see him move to open space. I don't want to see him move constantly. I don't want to see him walking. I don't want to see that anymore. We get possession. I want McKennie to go find open space immediately, not walk, move. And I want to see that with the whole team, honestly. And I'd rather not have Reyna pick the ball up versus Bolivia at half field. But, we've shown that that's what Gregg likes to do. It's not going to hurt us against Bolivia for Reyna to touch the ball that much, but against a better team, it will. He should be higher up the pitch.
Is it better for us to have Reyna sitting back further and possibly getting more touches on the ball, but having McKennie ghost, or having McKennie further back and having Reyna up the pitch, but maybe not necessarily getting as many touches?
Yeah, that's the problem, right?
Because I feel like with Weston further back, he has that opportunity for that 40-yard change of play distribution that he excelled so well with at Juve. But when he's higher up the pitch, it's just interlinking play at that point for him. It's not necessarily his biggest strength. I mean, he's not bad at it by any means. I'm not taking anything away from him in that front, but I'd much rather have Reyna being up there. If it's Adams or Cardoso, and then you mix him with Weston at the double pivot, or if it's Musa and Weston, and they move the ball forward and they give it up to Reyna. Reyna's in a more advanced role that's going to offer that final pass that we need.
I would say this against teams that are way weaker than us, you can play Reyna wherever you want.
Yeah,
it's fine. You play Brazil. I'd rather have, McKennie in that double pivot and have Reyna, at least when we have possession, move into the open space in front of the two double pivots and find that space. He's really good at finding space and then advance the ball up. I know Gregg likes to get Reyna the ball further back because Reyna can just dribble past two guys, no problem. Just like Musa can. Difference between Reyna and Musa is, though, that Reyna can make the final through pass, where Musa's show no proclivity to make that happen on any regular basis. So that's kind of what I'm sure he's thinking about, too. And on Thursday, we'll not only give you our picks for Copa America, we'll also pick the starting 11. So that'll be fun. I mean, fun, I guess. I mean, it's fun for us. Hope it's fun for you. So I think that's what it's going to take for me to, well, really, let's just be really honest. There's no way Gregg can win me back unless firecrackers shoot out my ass. I say the word eureka, 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 like 5 games in a row, 4 games in a row. I'm like, Gregg has really figured this out. I have no trust, no feeling that that's going to happen. I've seen no inclination for that to happen. All I see is the same thing from Gregg. Bad game, great game. Bad game, great game. Bad game, great game. That's Gregg in a nutshell.
So in that sense, because I mean, obviously, the pool like this, where it's like has very distinct levels of where you're going to be at. Say if we don't make the semifinals, let's say we lose out in the quarters, but it was like through the group stage we were a dominant force. Whether we finished first or second, neither here nor there, but we took on Uruguay. We did well. We go into the quarters. We play, whether it's Colombia or Brazil, we play them toe to toe. We play well. Maybe we lose 1-0 or something like that. But it was a positive transition forward, and you're starting to see some actual growth and change within the system, if you will. Would that be enough? Or does he need to do that and also get further in Copa for it to actually possibly occur?
So what I'll do is what I always do is we will be fair here. And if Gregg did a good job, we will say he did a better job or a good job. Or if he did a great job, we'll say he did a great job. We don't have to say that very often. But if we have to, we will say it. Is that going to win me over to Gregg? Nah, probably no. But I also will live in the real world and understand that that's enough for Betty. Betty Crocker will be pleased. And that I'll just need to move on and wait for, the oncoming games. I can tell you this. If we go and we don't even get out of the group, Gregg needs to be fired on the spot. On the spot. The day after the game, it needs to be announced that Gregg Berhalter has been relieved of his duties. If we can't get out of the group, he needs to be relieved of his duties. Pronto. I mean, they could announce it that night for all I care.
I feel like that must be a minimum at that point just to get out of the group. You would think. Especially if the performances are horrible. But you couldn't have asked there. Maybe you could make a better group, but this is about as good of a group as you can get to get out.
Yes.
If you're U.S. So,
I mean,
I don't know. I feel like it has to be at least the minimum requirement. You don't do that, then
you lose to Panama or Bolivia at home. I've got serious goddamn questions. No, I already got those questions. You and I, we're already decided. But so those questions are already there. It's just confirming what we already think. Oh, well, Gregg lost against Bolivia because they played a low block. And then it went 0-0 and we went to, and, we only scored a point against Bolivia. Well, that's unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
So, but BMR's probably right. This is the most likely scenario, but it's not, nothing's, locked. Obviously, you're not Nostradamus and we aren't either, but most likely he will lose in the quarters against Colombia or Brazil and keep his job, regardless of how bad it is. All he has to do for Betty is get out of the group. You need to blow that up.
I can't. Oh, hold on. Maybe I can. Hold on one second. Maybe I can do it on. Let's do this.
Is this a message for ants?
This is.
Oh. TNT is horrible. We just lost them. Yeah, it's absolutely right, Fumar. Absolutely right. It's possible we could lose to Bolivia. That's the scary thing. Although it's also possible that Argentina lost to Saudi Arabia. So weird shit happens. But I think in our case, it'll be different. Let's see. LD check, Twitter ASAP, and prob fire your barber. Where are you? 7 hours ago, had a hair transplant procedure 2 weeks ago, and was told it wouldn't show up on camera. Who told you that? Rafa Marquez? What is this? It's Landon replying.
Landon Donovan replying to, I'm not sure who.
Whatever, I deserve it. Good night.
Oh, Mo. Mo dude posted it. Looks
Good night, Mo. Okay.
There we go. We got an answer.
Hair transplant.
Hey, you guys are free to crack jokes. It's not medical.
I mean, that is a medical.
Well, I mean, yeah, but not the medical reason why you'd want to refrain from cracking a joke about having to shave your head, it looks like.
So you got to shave your head to get it transplanted in?
I don't know. And why is it on that side of his head? I figured that if you're going to transplant hair anywhere, it would be on top of your head.
It would be on the top.
I mean, again, pulling this up again. Why is there hair transplant there when it should be up here? I feel like his side of his hair he had plenty of hair.
I mean, you're being very kind. You're being very kind about it. It should be up here. It should be up here and way forward than that. Like near.
You know what? If it filled in right here, that's a step in the right direction, Derek.
And by the way, Brett can make all the ball person jokes he wants.
I certainly can. I'm not only a member; I am the president.
So at least we know.
No hair transplant. I'm this close to just buzzing it all off myself. So,
I mean, he could have waited till after the Euros, but then we got are they covering Copa too? Is he doing Copa as well, right?
Or wait a second, is this the transplant?
Huh.
I don't know anymore. What?
I don't know why you would leave a big chunk off for the transplant, but I don't know anything about transplants. So maybe there's a process I'm not aware of.
I have I am one of Landon Donovan's brothers when it comes to this hairstyle. So
yeah, I actually
fully aware, people. Fully aware.
I actually have some hair, not a lot, but it still works. All right, yeah, okay. So we know now, right? Okay, that's great. So I guess it's fair play then. Fair play.
Yeah, woo, damn, Brett.
Yeah, Brett, RIP. All right, that's not fair. I can actually make mine look good. So hold on. I'm not going to do it now.
Like I said, I actually do have a medical procedure I have to do first before I buzz my head off.
I am definitely got a receding hairline. That is for sure. Yes, it's receding. There's no doubt about it. But I don't have a bald spot anywhere.
Brett will never look the same to me ever.
That's fine. Hey, we're old. It's okay.
I'm already prepping my son. I'm like, hey, do all the fun haircuts you want now. Diet, do whatever whatever.
Wear
a mohawk, get a mohawk. Do it now because unless these hair procedures and sprays or they figure out what cures male pattern baldness, you're going to be fucked just like us.
Yeah. Exactly. There's no way around that. And it's nobody's fault. You're just born that way.
Yeah. At least Brett has a beard to rock it, unlike Landon. That's true. I'm letting this grow out just to say, hey, all my hair is receding down.
Yeah, I mean, you could shave that off. I have a good friend who finally said, fuck it, shaved all his, he's bald and has a beard, a big ass Viking beard too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can do that. That's a solution.
My daughter's already putting her hair ties in my beard right here on my chin.
Yeah, exactly.
So I might maybe, start braiding it.
I mean, the real point of all this is that our looks are inconsequential at our age.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't care. Hey,
you know what? When my 6-pack comes in, they're not going to care what's on top of my head. When I say "the," I mean my wife, because who else am looking?
It's been a great long run for me, and you're still running, with the devil there. Not that I'm calling Evie a devil, but you know what I'm saying. Running with the devil. You're still married. You got kids. Life is fucking chaotic as hell, right? And I already lived through all that shit. And, we're fine with where we are now. And I think that's good. I think everybody needs to be fine with where they're, unless.
Key to life, guys. Just have confidence. Who cares?
Yeah, unless you're morbidly obese, that's probably not healthy. And you'll probably
have the confidence to lose that weight. I'm working on it right now, hitting the gym in my school.
Probably die. So it's good to be somewhat healthy as I drink another vodka and Canada Dry and smoke.
Not many people are tall enough to see the top of your head, so you're good, Brett.
That's true. That's true. I look quite small next to Brett, which is odd but I've shrunk. I'm in my 50s. I shrank. So I used to be 5'11". Now I'm 5'10 and a half. What a bummer that happens when you get older, that you shrink. Sucks. But your nose keeps growing and your ears keep growing. What a pile of shit that is. But you know what?
Face looks stranger and stranger as you get older.
I know. I mean, we could bring up that old picture we had of me when I was 34, and you look at me now, and you're like, who the fuck? That's not even the same person. Yeah, your nose keeps growing, your ears keep growing, hair starts growing out of fucking orifices you never thought they'd grow out of. It's weird getting old. And, I'm young at heart, so, But the good thing is the other option, Brett, is that I'm not here at all and that I'm dead. And there was a point in my life, I was partying so hard, I thought, am I going to make it to 50? I don't know if I'm going to make it to 50. And then I did. So I have good genes. My parents are, in their late and mid 70s. They play tennis. They play golf. They're super active. They're healthier than I am. And so I'm blessed with genes and the fact that I played a shitload of sports when I was young. So I started out healthy. And then I got in a band and became unhealthy. And that's what happens being in a band. You do things you probably shouldn't do. Stay up till, 6 a.m. till the sun comes up, drinking and smoking and all the other activities involved with that. And doing, all kinds of drugs. And obviously I'm not doing that anymore. If any future employers are watching, I'm pretty clean.
Yeah. It's only 3 a.m. now. I don't stay up till 6 anymore. Boomar says nose, ears, and scrotum.
Yeah, I haven't had the ears thing, thankfully. But the nose, I got to trim. You're right. It sucks. Sucks getting old, man. It's like I got fucking hairs growing out of my nose that I got to clip. What the fuck is that all about? That shouldn't even be. That should have been through evolution. Should have disappeared by now because there's no actual use for that. For having long nose hairs, there's no use for it. What's the point of that? All right.
Broken Furnace Recordings. Here's you, Derek.
Yeah. Hey, man. I hope
rough times, man. Rough times.
I hope the music world's treating you well, Broken Furnace.
Good times, but rough.
Kevin Paulette just got here on vacation at Cedar Point. How are you, gents? We're doing great, Kevin. We hope you are too.
That's the entire show, though.
You did. Vacation at Cedar Point sounds marvelous. I hope it was good for you. By the way, we do love all of you. Thank you for all showing up at the show. And we're looking forward to Copa America. We're damn excited. Are we going to cover the game live? Are we calling the game live on Sunday?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
5 p.m.
I don't think I have any issues.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So 5 p.m. we'll be here live covering the You know, there are other broadcasts you can pick from, but, you know, would you rather listen to, I mean, Ian Dark's great, but if you want to watch us, you can check us out here live and get our reactions.
5 o'clock
Sunday.
Maybe. I have to find out what time it is. Chuckle's 6th birthday is on Sunday.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations to Chuckles.
Oh, God.
How old?
She's 6.
God, that's crazy. First time I met her, she was 3. Is that? Heck yeah. It's almost 3 years ago.
Probably about when we started up to hash up the show. Yeah.
That's
around
cool.
that time period. 2 or 3. Yeah.
That is nut city, man. That's all I got to say. When I met her online, and then I met her personally later, but you know, she used to bring her on the pre-shows because she always want to ask questions and stuff. Anyhow, good for her. Yeah, 6 years old, man, and it goes by so fast, Brett. These last 3 years have flown by.
Yeah,
they really have. But I want to thank all of you for supporting us. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma and your stepsister. You know, we're always here for you. You need stepsister advice. That's why we're here. On top of the soccer, it's just sort of a side gig we do. Stepsister advice is really our thing. And we will see you on Thursday where we break down who we think is going to win each group and who's going to start. Who's going to be the starting 11 for Gregg in that first game against Bolivia. We'll tell you then on Thursday. Until then, good night.
That hurt.
Then what is this thing?
Gio should never play for U.S. men's national team again because of the action of his parents.
What an idiot! Oh,
What type of Muppet does this?
Muppets. Absolute Muppets.
I'm not going to be the best person to give a whole explanation here, but that's